game's over nearly, and either you see it for what it is or you don't. And that's why I really do believe if you are not a contrarian, you're bound to be a victim if this breaks. So, yeah, we're getting closer than we've ever seen. In my opinion, in my career, never been this close.
Have you heard about the emergency suspension of new memberships by BRICS? The global stage was initially abuzz with reports of BRICS expanding and various nations applying to join. This move aligned with BRICS's long-standing ambition of attracting even Western allies and transforming the alliance into a formidable global force. Yet, this recent suspension has caught many off guard. Amidst significant growth, this development could have wide-reaching implications for global geopolitical dynamics and economic alliances. The suspension, however, is a calculated move to preserve the bloc's internal cohesion and long-term effectiveness. Formed in 2009 as BRIC before South Africa joined in 2010, the group initially brought together major emerging economies with a shared goal: increasing their collective political and economic influence on the world stage. Brazil, Russia, India, and China were united by their ambitions to challenge the dominance of Western-led financial institutions and governance structures. With a substantial share of the world's population and economic output, these countries hope to recalibrate the global balance of power. As of January 1st, 2024, BRICS has expanded its membership to Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the United Arab Emirates, UAE. The inclusion of these countries highlights BRICS' appeal among emerging economies and marks a significant step in its evolution as a major global player. Analysts such as Andy Schekman, Alastair MacLeod, and Simon Hunt have pointed out that this expansion could be linked to BRICS' ambitions to introduce a gold-backed currency. Such a currency could challenge the US dollar's dominance and reshape the global financial landscape. Before we listen to insights from renowned experts on BRICS expansion, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to stay updated with all our latest content. Thanks for watching and enjoy the video.
My main focus for the last 3-4 years has been on this growing coalition of countries, the BRICS, that are gaining legitimacy, gaining credibility, gaining critical mass, gaining mass adoption. And in 2023, we saw the admittance, which just went full effect here yesterday, of Iran and Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates and Ethiopia and Egypt. And, you know, this is a big deal as far as I'm concerned. This is a very, very big deal. I think the end of the U.S. hegemony is over the entire world is becoming obvious. I think that's kind of one of the main trends that I saw in 2023. And, you know, I think I would cap it off by saying maybe the biggest event that I saw in 2023 that really puts an exclamation point on the BRICS. And, you know, we can talk about the fact that there's another 16 countries that have already formally applied, another 20 plus countries that have expressed interest. You're talking 40 countries in all, and if not more, a massive growing coalition.
The history of this essentially starts with the Russians looking at how to construct a new trade settlement currency for BRICS. Originally, it was Sergei Glaziev who was appointed by Putin to look at this problem for the Eurasian Economic Union, which basically were the stans, if you like, ex-Soviet Union stans, if you like, between Russia and China. And, you know, Glaziev actually wrote a paper for a Moscow business magazine called Vodomosti. This was about nearly 2 years ago now, where he made a very, very strong case for putting the ruble back onto a gold standard. So we can see which way his thinking is going. And last year, ahead of the BRICS summit in Johannesburg, there were very, very strong rumors put out via RT, the Russian television service, and also by the Russian embassy in Kenya, of all places, that they were going to put this new gold-backed currency on the agenda for the BRICS meeting in Johannesburg. Mm-hmm. didn't actually make the cut. And it didn't make the cut, I think, because China didn't want it at that stage, because China could see it would destabilize everything in the West, that is. And furthermore, India didn't want it. So you're talking about the two most populous nations, if you like, in the BRICS system. So that was put to one side. It is, however, the indications are that it will go on the agenda for the BRICS meeting in Astana that's in October. And we have seen there's a paper which is a sort of early proposal of how this might be constructed. And they're talking about this trade settlement currency consisting of 40% backing by gold and the rest of it currencies. And the paper actually was not all that well put together. There were big areas of confusion, in my view. There were lots of questions raised in the whole thing. Now, it may well have been tidied up somewhat and some of these issues addressed, but it looks like we are going to see another attempt to get this on the agenda by Russia. And bear in mind that Russia has the chairmanship of BRICS in 2024, this year, and is organizing something like 200 meetings to do with BRICS. These being meetings which are sort of progressing various elements of BRICS and so on and so forth. And there is no doubt that the membership of BRICS will be expanded even further.
However, the decision to suspend new memberships has taken many by surprise. Russian officials announced that the bloc had decided to pause membership expansion to ensure that new members, who have effectively doubled the association, are successfully integrated. By the overwhelming majority, the 10 nations decided to pause with new members to take in the new members who have doubled the association. According to foreign news reports, Lavrov told Belarus Council of the Republic speaker Natalia Kochanova. Lavrov further emphasized that the bloc focuses on creating categories for partner countries as an intermediate step toward full-fledged membership, hinting that BRICS wants to build a more robust foundation before further enlarging the bloc. The current BRICS bloc is characterized by its political and economic diversity. China's economy might contrast sharply with South Africa's relatively smaller economy. At the same time, Brazil and India, both experiencing economic growth, often find themselves at odds on issues of global trade and economic policy. Russia, grappling with Western sanctions due to the ongoing war in Ukraine, has been eager to deepen ties with non-Western nations, a stance that can sometimes conflict with the more neutral positions taken by other BRICS members. China has been a central force behind BRICS's expansion, actively promoting the inclusion of new members through initiatives like the Belt and Road Initiative, BRI. By fostering stronger relationships with emerging economies, China has aimed to broaden its influence and build a coalition that could counterbalance Western dominance. However, while beneficial in many ways, this rapid growth in BRICS membership carries the risk of diluting China's influence within the bloc. As more diverse members with varying political and economic priorities join, internal divisions could arise, potentially undermining the unified vision that China has been working to cultivate. These divisions might slow decision-making processes, making it more challenging to maintain a cohesive agenda across such a diverse group of nations. Another key founding member, India, has taken a more cautious approach to expansion. While India supports the inclusion of developing nations that align with BRICS's broader objectives, it is mindful of the potential risks associated with expansion that is too rapid. For India, the concern lies in the possibility that an influx of new members could steer BRICS towards a more overtly anti-Western stance. Given India's strong strategic and economic ties with Western powers, such a shift could complicate its relationships with key allies in Europe and North America. India's careful balancing act reflects its broader foreign policy goals, promoting a multipolar world where power is more evenly distributed while maintaining strong partnerships with the West. This balancing act is crucial for India as it navigates its role as a major player in both the developing and developed worlds. Brazil, too, has expressed reservations about the pace of BRICS's expansion. Despite its deep economic ties with China, Brazil has important relationships with Western economies, particularly the United States. This dual alignment has led Brazil to advocate for a more measured approach to growth within BRICS. Rather than immediately granting full membership to new entrants, Brazil has proposed that potential members first be considered partner nations. This would allow the bloc to assess their alignment with BRICS's objectives and ensure they can contribute meaningfully to the group's initiatives. This restrained approach helps mitigate the risk of internal fragmentation and ensures that BRICS remains focused on its core goals. The pause in new admissions also addresses practical concerns regarding the bloc's capacity to absorb new members. The rapid growth seen in recent years may have outpaced BRICS's ability to integrate these countries effectively. For instance, while invited to join, Saudi Arabia has not yet completed the full ratification process. The suspension gives BRICS time to consolidate its internal structure and establish a framework for future expansion, avoiding the risk of overstretching its capabilities. Experts suggest that the pause in expansion is a strategic move to prioritize quality over quantity. BRICS aims to solidify its internal alignment and ensure that future members are well matched with its values and objectives. This involves evaluating potential new members based on their political positions, historical alliances, and commitment to BRICS's vision of a multipolar world. The decision to halt expansion presents both strategic advantages and challenges. On the one hand, it allows BRICS to consolidate its values and ensure new members align with its goals. On the other hand, it raises questions about ongoing initiatives like the mBridge project. mBridge, developed by countries including China, Hong Kong, the UAE, and Thailand, aims to create a payment infrastructure that bypasses the US-dominated SWIFT system. Saudi Arabia's recent commitment to fully participate in mBridge underscores a significant shift in global trade dynamics. As the world's largest oil producer, Saudi Arabia's alignment with this system indicates a move towards alternative financial frameworks. For this transformative vision to succeed, BRICS would need the economic heft that comes with further expansion. Additional members could bolster the bloc's collective influence and provide the necessary support to implement systems like mBridge on a larger scale.
Two meetings between Sergei Glaziev. Now, Sergei is, this finance minister who's been saying for 3 years, this is why I've been saying that the BRICS currency will be pegged to a basket of commodities and a basket of currencies. He's the architect of all this. The meeting was between Glaziev, Putin, and Dilma Rousseff. Dilma Rousseff, for your listeners who don't know, was the former president of Brazil and is now the president of the BRICS New Development Bank. This is no small job. She is the head of the BRICS New Development Bank. And she came out and confirmed that in the two meetings, they have agreed in principle to a new BRICS settlement currency called the unit. We're going to get into that in a moment. And that it would all be traded over Project mBridge. Now, I don't know if I've spoken with you about mBridge, but I have talked a lot about it over the last year and a half or so. It came out in 2023. It's actually been developed for years before that, but developed between China, Hong Kong, Thailand, and the United Arab Emirates. It is a cross-border payment system that allows these countries to trade their central bank digital currencies with one another, not going through any United States intermediary banks or the SWIFT system. And I believe that gold and oil have been remonetized, right? I've said that incessantly, including, look at oil. I always talk about gold, but look at oil in terms of its value. China was awarded a massive $2 or $3 billion contract to modernize Iran's biggest airport. And they're being paid for it in oil. Not dollars like it used to be, but in oil. So I find it ironic that the first two trades that they did in testing this system were between China and the UAE using digital yuan to buy oil and to buy gold. And they worked. And now it is working. And what's interesting about the Project mBridge is that Saudi Arabia just became a full participant in Project mBridge, which is not compatible with US dollars. Not compatible with US dollars. The largest oil producer in the world, who just joined BRICS, became a full participant in mBridge. Dilma Rousseff said that the new unit currency will be 40% gold, not a basket of commodities, but 40% gold, and 60% a basket of local currencies. Now, as far as the basket of gold, what did the BIS reclassify gold as? BIS being the most powerful bank on the planet. Well, they reclassified gold, ironically, as the only other tier one reserve asset. And it's interesting, if we go back to 2017, you had all of these banks that I mentioned repatriating their gold. The Bundesbank, Austria, Hungary, Turkey, Poland, the Czech National Bank, the Dutch National Bank, on and on and on. Weird at the time. Those same banks in 18 bought more gold as a group than they did in the 60 years previously combined. And then the next year in 2019, that number was doubled. Go on a wicked buying spree and repatriation spree. And then somehow miraculously out of nowhere, the BIS says, oh, by the way, gold is now a tier one asset, the only other one next to US dollars and treasuries, as if they weren't told this. Guess who is behind Project Enbridge as well? Oh, yeah. That would be the Bank of International Settlements. They are a full participant and developer with, alongside China, Hong Kong, UAE, and Thailand in Project Enbridge, which is not compatible with US dollars, which Saudi Arabia just joined in on.
So, what do you think about BRICS' decision to pause new memberships? Is it a sign of internal challenges or a strategic move to ensure the bloc's future growth and effectiveness? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this analysis, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with others, and subscribe for more updates on global developments. See you in the next video.